Hi everyone, I'm here with Jadius again, and we're still in Bali, Indonesia. And was sharing with me about synesthesia, and that he actually is one as well, where he is able to see sound. So I found out about this by, well, you want to tell the story, or share what you would like to about it?
How Jessica came to discover I was a synesthete was, we were at...
Oh, I actually pronounced it because I couldn't, sorry. Wait for you to do it first. Go.
We were at the restaurant and I was noticing the ugly, boring shapes coming from the cars, and I told Jessica, and yeah, that's how she...
Wait a second, you see shapes coming off of the vehicles, and they're boring, and you're like, even the shapes that the vehicles make, because I was complaining about the sound of vehicles. I'm extremely sensitive to unnatural sounds, I guess, and so it's just, I don't know, disrespectful to the silence, but anyway, as opposed to birds and things like that, and he just said it so casually and so nonchalantly, and I was just, what did you just say? What do you mean you can actually see the sound? And that it's just as boring and as ugly? And so then it started that conversation and topic more about, okay, tell me, how does a rooster, what does that sound look like? What's your favorite sound? We talked about what you like the least, how so? And you were sharing how you tried to draw it for me, even, like, I remember the rooster, and your sister, I asked what's her voice sound like, because each person's voice produces a certain kind of picture as well, too. And today we were also watching some videos about synesthesia people.
Synesthesia.
Okay, I got part of it. Anyway, and it's just, these people seem to be like X-Men in their abilities. It's a very shamanic kind of a quality to share senses. So being able, we watched a girl that was able to hear the rain, see the rain of different colors, and also taste it as well. So each sound also had a taste associated with it, which was really, really interesting. And they say that this is a rare thing, and I don't think it is. They also were talking about a boy who was able to remember huge amounts of numbers and learn a language within a week, something as complex and challenging as Icelandic. And it was because of his relationship with the numbers and how he knew them, and when he spoke about numbers, it seemed like they were his friends, and they each had a very specific, distinct kind of a personality. Certain numbers were shy. For example, the 9 was a very large, intimidating number, and what are the other ones, if I can remember off the top of my head? 6 was the one that was the most mysterious to him, that he has the hardest time getting to know. 1 was very big and bright as well, almost like a light flashing in his eyes. And there are people who are able to, if you say a word like window, they will see the word written in front of them, and sometimes it'll be closer and farther away. You were talking about that too, how Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they can be further or closer to your face. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You actually see the picture, the letters written in front of you?
Yes.
Does that help you with your spelling, by the way?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Anywhere else?
And vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do you want people to know about being a synesthete?
Synesthete. What else do I want people to know? Just that down, gone blank.
Singing Frog, Warner Brothers. I was worried this might happen. Because people were asking for us to do videos together, and we're working on it. We just both get very shy in front of the camera. I'm just wanting to include you, so I don't do all the talking. So, because people really enjoy your beautiful voice. He's also, sings his beautiful, beautiful voice, and he has taught himself to sing because of being able to see the shapes and the colors of all the tones that his voice is able to produce. And I found that incredibly interesting. I was thinking, does it have to do with your intent when you are making a sound or saying something? Or is it just our unique specific vibration or signature that we each have? And it's hard to say, because it seems like with what we've been looking at when it comes to being synesthetic, can I use that? That's a word? Then it's almost like everybody's is different. I mean, B might be blue to one person and green to another, kind of a thing. So it's, again, your relationship and association with it. And so, again, that truth is just very kaleidoscopic. 10 different people can witness something, and they'll all see something different in that event. And it's nice to know that you're not alone, though, right? With all those other people that were talking about it?
Yes.
As well.
A relief.
Mm-hmm. And like we were saying, they were saying that it's rare, but I don't think so. I think that a lot of people just haven't noticed it because they just assume that it's normal, because that's how they've always been. And I think also just with the people in developing countries who might not even seen letters and words, don't even understand that their difference in their abilities, but it's becoming so much more intense and more in your face as time goes by. More and more people are starting to realize that something really incredible is happening. It's the X-Men, really showing these abilities of the mind and the heart, and just helping us break these paradigms or these ideas of what we think we are as opposed to what we really are.
Well, I only discovered just kind of recently that it was anything different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I was, like, in my baby's book, it says, like, dancing to no music.
Mm-hmm.
But I was dancing to something, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Shapes
Mm-hmm.
of what I was
very interesting.
seeing.
Continue.
And how I discovered that it was anything abnormal, if I should use that, that it was anything different, was I just nonchalantly asked someone, like, if they were seeing, like, the shapes of this song, or asked my mum actually if she could see that shape coming off of, like, for instance, like the vehicles, like Jess, and she was like, no. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I asked a friend, and she, like, didn't know what I was talking about. So I guess it's yeah. And then I started, like, I began noticing how me seeing shapes has actually shaped how I am, in a sense, with making music and seeing shapes and the different tones of music, the way people speak and the shapes that come off them. I've learnt, like, a vast range of words. Like, I used words that people said I shouldn't have been using when I was a certain age.
Mm-hmm. Like?
Oh,
just complex words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're too young to be talking like that, kind of a thing. But yeah, it was cool and unusual to discover that's something you've been living with, and just thinking that it's something normal. Other people don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know that, you know that you can use it. You start noticing those abilities, if you will, more, and that and how it's played a part in your life, kind of thing. I don't know how many people have calendars in their heads.
Do you have a calendar in your head?
Yes.
Okay. I definitely do not have a calendar in my head, nor a watch, or anything that has to do with the linear frame of time and space.
Yeah. Or that see the letters that see the letters of the words people speak when they speak.
You can see them.
Yeah.
Yes. And do you see them with colors as well?
And colours, yeah.
So certain letters will have colors when they...
Mine aren't. I've never usually had a bold colour, so it's mixed colours. And for instance, number 5, I like because it's a friendly number.
Okay.
And certain sounds, particularly whales, sounds like whales, I always seek in music. It's also the Baka pygmy people of Africa have a similar kind of shape when they sing, and I only realised that I was always seeking the same kind of the shapes from the music.
Can you describe what kind of a shape you would see with a whale sound, for example, and if there's colors associated with it as well?
Yes.
Very addicting kind of a thing. Do you do anything to continue to keep being surrounding yourself by authentic whale sounds, or the violin, or the African tribe that plays with?
That sings.
Yeah.
The best way I could explain it, a whale's sound is a bit like it's like a transparent thread that goes like this as the sounds being made, and it's very difficult to explain all the different shapes because they're all different and they're all like unique, but it's not. It's like it has a space of its own, as in like there might be like a black space, and then in that space is a clear thread going in it, and then in that clear kind of transparent thread is different depths and tones and colours and kind of waves, and yeah, that's just an example of the shape of the sounds. There's all kinds of sounds, but I'm going to have to somehow learn to better kind of give people a visual description.
That's okay. It's still pretty interesting. And do you feel like when you're seeing something like a whale's sound, is it almost like hypnotic?
Yes.
And what colors are usually associated with the sounds of a whale?
Blue, like a deep blue. Yeah, a blue, and it's just this kind of very kind of. It's difficult because you guys aren't seeing.
We can't see what you see, so you have to try to explain it the best you can in articulation. I mean, it's moving around too.
Yes.
So if what you drew for us is this kind of beautiful kind of a line in that one video we were watching with that girl. The way you said how they tried to animate, reenact what it might look like. You said this is exactly very accurate to this kind of it's like a rainbow sash, kind of moving around and dancing like that, and figure eights and stuff like that. And so one thing that's really interesting if you hang out with EO, or if you have him around you when you're in a conversation, he's very quiet. But he's quiet because he's extremely telepathic, and for him, the connection is not in the words, it's in the feeling of the words, it's in the shape of the words and the colors. So I'm somebody who loves words and conversation, so I'm always trying to get EO to talk, so what's on your mind, and so forth. But it seems like he's not paying attention, but he is, because he always wants to be around, but in the vibration of what is given off is what he's watching, and what he's feeling, and what is his own euphoria kind of a thing. So it's very interesting to observe EO observe us, me and my friends and stuff like that. So
yeah, I don't, quite often I accidentally, I'm not, like just that I'll be in the room listening to Jess have a conversation or listening to what she's saying, but, and it'll look like I'm not listening, but I'm enjoying the shapes and the sounds of the conversation, or anyone's conversation. I'll be just relaxed to it and just watching all the different shapes and tones and smells that some people, that everything has. So it's...
You have smells too? You are able to
sometimes, yes.
Smell a sound?
Yes, smell a sound.
Really?
Sometimes.
Like which sound usually has a smell associated with it that comes to mind?
It's usually a person's sound. Usually a person's shape.
What do you mean by that? Like a name of a person suddenly associates a smell? Comes to you?
Yes.
And this is kind of interesting because this ties into light workers and starseeds and clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsmelling, clairtouching, all those kind of abilities. That most starseeds tend to have something like this, or a mixing of it, to create their own unique ability. Well, I do know people who are able to smell spirits and stuff like that, the good ones and the not, and the ones that maybe cause discord or mischief and stuff like that, all have specific smells and sounds and feelings and so forth. You're saying when you have when you're listening to a conversation, you're not fully present because of the shapes and the feeling you're getting from it. And you say that even certain kind of music makes you physically ill, or even just to look at someone who delivers something that might be of a lower vibration and intent. It's really impressive to have EO around you who can read people as well, because of how he's able to see the shapes coming off of them. Because sometimes I think I'm boring to EO, because if I'm just laying low and just introverted inside myself, he's still at comfort and peace with being around me, I guess, because of the shapes and the energy that he's feeling still. That, I guess, allows you to just be. And I have something similar in which when I'm having a conversation with someone, sometimes it's very difficult to pay attention to what they're saying because of their eyes and because of the light coming off of it and the conversation that the eyes are saying.
Yeah.
And so just this amazing kind of soul and color show happening that... And then their face maybe changes a bit, like seeing beyond the hologram, and I can see some of the forms they've been, or their guides might step forward and stuff like that. But if I am a
synesthete.
Synesthete. Why can't I say it? It's probably for the video, for amusement. Who knows? It would be through feeling. Like they were saying that there was one synesthete that was able to talk about somebody being touched on the leg. And that person could feel their leg being touched just by them hearing that. So I'm similar in that why I have a hard time watching movies of violence is because I feel it right away as if it were my own. So that kind of ties into it as well. And it's good that people can look at it from a scientific perspective as well, for people who need that kind of logic for the skeptics in us all. And what was else I going to ask you? We also feel that that child prodigy Akian is definitely a synesthete, that she's able to do the things that she is, particularly if you listen to her story and her experience of being able to physically bilocate and seeing heaven, touching, tasting, smelling, hearing sound. Do you remember her saying that? That's clearly what that is, or even in heaven maybe all these senses are available. I wrote a poem about this too called Sense Swap, kind of a thing. Playing with that, but so after a while of you asking other people, can you see this? Is this the same for you? You start to realize that's not the case, and you're different. But not in a way like I'm better than you or anything like that, but just able to see the world in a very special way that gives you your
And
own.
to not be bored.
Never ever be bored, because there's always sound, there's always noise. What about a bird? What do you see when you hear a bird, like right now?
It looks like something like almost like a teardrop. Oh, a drop. It looks like a drop.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about what the shape is?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it looks like a drop.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just a drop. There's a feeling behind the drop as well. It's that that I'm talking about.
And all birds, every single bird has a teardrop for its sound, even if something like a parrot?
No, they'll have a different shape.
Okay.
The small birds have like teardrops. Have the drops. Yeah.
And is there a color?
I'm getting it's white, but there's different layers inside that white that make it exciting to listen to.
Do you feel like this ability has saved your life in ways where you were able to see something from a sound or from a person that you knew that you can't trust, or that you could, or where you could trust?
What was the question again?
Being able to read people. We brushed on it a little bit earlier, but just a bit more in detail of by what the shapes are when they're speaking to you. Say you meet them for the first time, but you see that the shape is something that might not make you feel comfortable with that person, or make you feel extremely comfortable with that person, that you know that you can trust them.
People have a different shape and also a different smell as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scent. It's a kind of scent that I can't always explain. It's not in the nose, but behind the nose.
Interesting.
And if I meet a person that I resonate with, their kind of wave shape is it's almost like, the best I could explain it is, it's like lukewarm water. It's like taking a warm bath, relaxing bath, and when I come across people who can be kind of angry in themselves or at something, they give off a really bad smell.
Is it just emotion? So if you saw somebody that is nice but suddenly become angry, does their smell?
Their smell changes.
Just everything changes.
Yes.
So it does have to do with intent.
I don't know.
Have you played like a little bit of detective with this, analyzed and like compared and things like that?
A little bit.
Okay. Interesting. I guess if it was me, that's what I'd do. But everybody has their own different approach and relationship to their abilities and how they perceive and what's important to them. Okay.
I think there's different layers to synesthesia, so it's not just sound, it's taste, touch, hearing mixed in with emotion, and yeah.
There are people who have done things with hallucinogenic properties in it that say that they're able to do and experience similar things. Again, people who've had near-death experiences and mystics and shamans. So I suspect that this is something to do with being able to have your senses working beyond the hologram kind of a thing. To show you the truth of what's really there and what life really is about kind of a thing. But not just seeing it, but hearing it, feeling it, finding it like an artist of the senses kind of a thing. I think that's again, something really exciting to show of the awakening that's occurring, and being able to step out of the hologram, question the hologram and what we're seeing, hearing, and feeling, as opposed to how others are seeing, hearing, and feeling it, and even smelling it, and what it all means. Going deeper, like the smell beyond the smell. Like you were saying, yeah. The sight beyond the sight, hearing beyond the sound, and so forth. These are the questions we need to ask in order to really understand what is going on at this planet at this time and who we really are. And Eve, I'm so proud of you. This is the most I've got you to talk in a long time. And again, it's not that he's bored, he's just observing and feeling, and it's very, very, I'm honored to have him with me on my journey. So, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.